So we are now officially in July, which of course means that this is Donkey Kong Bonanza month, and today was actually the day that previews had come out from people who got to play the game early, as Nintendo had a special event that was held in different parts of the world where they invited journalists and media and the press and even some YouTubers to get a chance to play the game for a few hours, and they got a couple of different save files from different parts of the game to get like an experience from like some of the mid game, the late game, and the early game. And so a lot of those impressions had come out today from articles and videos that were posted, so I went through and I looked through all of them and I basically compiled the important stuff, and that's what we're going to be talking about here in terms of the good stuff and the bad stuff that I've seen from these previews. Now real quick before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, 8BitDo. 8BitDo makes some great video game controllers, and they were kind enough to send over their new Ultimate 2C wireless controller for me to check out. Of course, it works on the Nintendo Switch too, and I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with it. Compared to the Switch 2 Pro controller, there's even more customizable buttons on the top, in addition to back grip buttons like on the Switch 2's controller. But by far, one of the best things about this controller is how it uses metal sticks, which will not get stick drift at all. The Switch 2 Pro controller has already been torn down, and we know that Nintendo hasn't fundamentally changed the joysticks from the Switch 1, meaning that it will drift eventually. If you're somebody who plays rough with your sticks in competitive games like Splatoon or Smash Bros, this might be the controller for you. Right now you can check out from the link in the description and get this controller for 10% off, so definitely take advantage of that, and thank you so much to 8BitDo for sponsoring the video. So jumping right into it, the one piece of big information that did come out from all of this is that it has now been officially confirmed by Nintendo themselves that the developers behind Donkey Kong Bonanza are in fact the same team that worked on Super Mario Odyssey. And I mean, at this point, we pretty much kind of all knew that this was to be expected. Like, if you played Super Mario Odyssey, then you can just see the DNA of that game all over Donkey Kong Bonanza. There's like triple bananas, like how you have triple moons. The bananas are basically just like the moons that you collect throughout these like open sandboxy environments. The shop where you kind of go through and like see all of the different outfits that you can wear literally uses the same UI. Like, it's so obvious that it felt like that this was made by the Mario Odyssey team. And we had also heard rumors about this for a while too. And that's another thing that I've seen people talking about now, that like if the 3D Mario team has been working on this Donkey Kong game the whole time, then that means the 3D Mario game must be a couple years away still, like we're not going to see it for a while. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily the case. I feel like there's probably a chance that maybe some of the very like senior developers from that team had started working on a 3D Mario, and then they also were working on this game at the same time, because if you remember the rumors, we had actually heard rumors about the 3D Mario team having worked on a brand new like 3D Donkey Kong type of game since like I think 2020. So if this game is coming out in 2025, I mean, I don't think that they've been just working on this only for 5 years. I think it's definitely possible that they've been working on a 3D Mario game as well, and they were also working on this game alongside it, and then maybe they were just working on it together. But at the same time, I feel like it's definitely possible that a 3D Mario game could still just be like 1 or 2 years away, and we could very well see the reveal for it very soon also. So I wouldn't say that Donkey Kong Bonanza means that the next 3D Mario game won't be for a long time. But yeah, I think it is just nice to see that it has been officially confirmed now that the Mario Odyssey team is in fact the ones that are behind this game. But now going into some of the big stuff with the game, the one thing that I've actually noticed that caught my interest is that I've seen somebody say that the game isn't really as much of a collectathon like Super Mario Odyssey was. And if you remember Super Mario Odyssey, that game was really pretty much where like your end goal was of course trying to save Peach from Bowser, but when you were traveling between the kingdoms, pretty much once you got to one kingdom, you kind of just had to get a certain amount of moons until you had enough power to take you to the next kingdom, and that's pretty much what the game turned into. Now of course there were some places that did have like an actual little task that you needed to do, but it seems like Donkey Kong Bonanza, pretty much every area is just gonna have some type of actual like situation that you're gonna need to help out with, and that's gonna be kind of like the main quest that you're gonna need to do. And once you do that, that's when it's gonna take you to the next area. So you could pretty much, I guess, just go straight through the story if you want to, and just keep doing all of these like situations and helping out with the main quest and moving quickly to like the next layer underneath the ground and getting as fast as you can to the planet core. But obviously they said a lot of the fun comes from just like going off of the path that you're supposed to be and like discovering all of these extra little things that are hidden everywhere throughout the world, and finding these extra banana gems and all of that type of stuff, because that's the stuff that you can actually discover on your own. And so unlike Super Mario Odyssey, where once you got to a kingdom and it would just tell you like you need 20 moons to take you to the next one, I don't think that this game is going to do that, where it's going to be like, well, you need 15 banana gems to take you to the next level underground. I think what it's going to be more like is you're just going to have to do the main quest, but the banana gems are actually going to have a bigger purpose now, because these are actually going to be tied now to your skill points. So in the DK Direct, they already did kind of talk a little bit about how there is kind of like a mini skill tree, and you're going to be able to use skill points that you acquire to be able to upgrade your skills so that you can have more health, you could do more damage, you can even learn new attacks and power up like your Bananza forms and stuff. And it seems like now from these previews, we officially know now that if you collect 5 banana gems equals getting 1 skill point to then be able to upgrade one thing on the skill tree. So if you want to upgrade a lot of stuff and you want to have like a really powerful Donkey Kong by the end of the game, then that means you are going to have to go out of your way to try to find a lot of these gems. And I think that is a really nice kind of reward to get, because I definitely think that this is going to be something that I'm really going to be trying to do now, and finding a lot of these banana gems to definitely just be able to get a lot of my skills leveled up and trying to become really good and powerful while playing through the game. So that actually seems like it's going to be a lot of fun now, because that's kind of like the one thing that Super Mario Odyssey I felt like didn't really have, because there was a ton of moons in that game, but there wasn't really like a big reward that you were getting if you were actually collecting a lot of these moons. And that's why when I played that game, I was kind of just collecting like the number of moons that I needed to get to the next area. Sometimes if I found like an extra little moon on the way or something, I would end up doing that too, but I wasn't really going out of my way to try to find as many as I could. But now that the reward for this game is actually getting stronger and like leveling up your skills and stuff, I feel like I am going to be more kind of incentivized to actually go and try to find as many of these banana gems as I can. And then really the only cons or negatives that I've seen about this game from the previews is that people did say that unfortunately there are still some frame rate drops and dips that happen, but it isn't anything super bad that makes it like the game is unplayable or not fun to go through. But every now and then you might notice like a little small mini stutter or a dip or something if you're getting to an area where there's a lot of stuff going on, but it shouldn't be that bad. I actually got to play Donkey Kong Bonanza early at like a Walmart near me where they actually had like the demo of the game on display, so I actually took a picture of that and I tweeted about it on my Twitter too. And I remember when I played through that, there were a few FPS dips that were happening there too, but nothing where it actually made the game like not fun to kind of go through. Like if you played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when that came out on the Switch 1, like day one when that was coming out and the game was just stuttering and lagging and chugging along, it definitely does not feel like that, so you don't have to worry about that. That was definitely like one of those cases where I was actually not having fun playing through the game because of how stuttery and how bad the performance was. But yeah, this game is still relatively very smooth and very responsive and still really fun to play. And then really the other thing is I've seen some people saying that the bosses felt a little bit too easy. Now the gameplay that I did see with them, sometimes I think they were doing it with 2 players, and it seems like that the 2-player option, like the multiplayer where like one person controlling Pauline who gets to throw like those vocal blast attacks, might be like very broken because you can just keep spamming them. It doesn't seem like there's like a limit to how many you can do or like a cooldown or anything. So if you can just keep doing that, then that means even if Donkey Kong is out of range, if you're like at the bottom and you need to hit something on the top, you could just have the person who's playing as Pauline be able to aim there with the mouse control and then being able to like spam attacks there, which would be able to do damage. So that seems a little bit too broken, but I've seen some people saying that they felt that the bosses were a little bit too easy. So I am hoping that there are going to be still some like bigger and more kind of cooler bosses, because that was also kind of the situation with like Mario Odyssey, where like if you remember like those the bunny bosses that they had, those ones weren't really all that interesting. Like I forget what the names of them were. I think they were called Brutals or something. So those weren't really that exciting. However, the actual like cinematic bosses, like the one I always remember is like that like Wiggler that was like the Mecha Wiggler that was like on the city, and like when you were like doing that boss fight at night, that was like one of the really hype and super fun bosses. So as long as there's types of bosses like that still in this game, in addition to some that aren't really like super exciting, then I think we should be fine. But yeah, there you go guys, that is pretty much kind of the big stuff that has come out from these Donkey Kong Bonanza previews. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about the Nintendo Switch too, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you think about all of this. How do you feel about all the information for Donkey Kong Bonanza from these previews? Are you excited about the game? Are you not looking forward to it? Are you going to be picking it up yourself? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.